All right. Hello, everybody. So we need to talk about Mars moving into Aquarius on February 23rd. So if you've been following my videos or you're following what's going on in the sky, you know that we are in the middle of an eclipse season. So it started right around February 10th, and then we had the lunar eclipse on February 17th. And then we will have the solar eclipse on March 3rd. And then a week after that, the eclipse season will end. And right in smack dab in the middle of all of this, we have dramatic Mars moving into Aquarius, here where the solar eclipse just happened, and with all of these other planets, including Rahu. And we know that when Rahu and Mars come together, things tend to get like dramatized, and Mars is very reactive, and so Rahu can also be impulsive, and so this just like makes things more reactive and more intense. And Mars represents war and bombs and fighting. And you, we are likely to see things actually get more intense as time goes on. So Mars coming into this is definitely going to add to already a pretty like heavy energy that we've been feeling. And I talked in the eclipse videos about how we're in the Aquarius Leo axis, and Rahu is in Aquarius, and this is where we're putting our energy and our attention. And Aquarius is where we rebel against governments. And we already see a lot of the people in many different countries rebelling against governments and against even like billionaires and the elites and the people in power. And Leo is represents governments and the people in power, kings, people at the top. And so your K2 shows where we're like disgusted. So right here is Leo, and K2's there all by himself. And that is where we are just like, no, we don't like that. And so we are seeing people revolting against governments. And Mars is already, when Mars comes into Aquarius, we have this kind of like protect people and to like want to help the underdog kind of attitude. And this energy will go on all for the rest of the eclipse season until Mars moves into Pisces in March. So just be prepared that it's probably going to get more dramatic before it cools down. And then in your own life, be aware of how you might be overly defensive and maybe like disgusted with people of authority, or having like no patience for people who have titles and things like that. You might just be feeling like you want to go against the system. So just being aware of it, you don't necessarily want to do it in a destructive way. But there's nothing wrong with thinking about how maybe things could be different. Aquarius is very unconventional. And so if you are an Aquarius rising sign or you have planets in Aquarius, these planets tend to be very unconventional, and they will be a little quirky. They will do things uh, that are like out of the box. And so this is a good time with all of these planets in this energy and the eclipse happening in this energy, is being open to new ideas and seeing things from a new perspective. And Saturn is in Pisces, telling us that it's time to face reality. And then we have Jupiter over here in Gemini retrograding, seeing that uh, we're it's a time where we need to reflect on our beliefs and decide if they still are in alignment with the facts that are coming in. And when Jupiter and Mercury are in alignment, this is when our beliefs and facts are aligning and we are in a place of reality. And so, the problem with Jupiter in Gemini, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, Jupiter and Mercury can get confused between what is a belief and what is a fact. And opinions aren't necessarily facts. And Mercury is about the information, it's about the facts. And when we have Jupiter here facing the facts, then Jupiter might feel like, but these facts are not in alignment with my beliefs. And this is the perfect opportunity with Saturn in Pisces, forcing us to face reality, to really come to clarity with what we believe. And then with all these planets happening in Aquarius, it's time to allow ourselves to see things from a new perspective or a new angle and to allow some of this unconventional thinking to come in and switch it up, change things around because there seems to need to be like a shift in energy. And so that's what I'm going to talk about with Mars coming into this mix here. But I will say it will get more dramatic before it gets better. And but I don't want to like over dramatize it. We'll be fine. We'll get through it. But be prepared that Mars and Rahu like to intensify things and make things seem a little bit more dramatic than they actually are. So I hope to see you in the next video. I would love to know if you feel the Mars energy in Aquarius and how you plan to align with it.